My wife's words echoed across the courtroom like incoming fire. You lied to my father. You stole that house. I stood there in dress blues, 22 years of service weighing on my shoulders, and said nothing, not a syllable, because sometimes silence is the sharpest blade you can draw. The accusation era, my wife of 8 years, looked ready for war. Tight auburn bun, blood-red power suit, green eyes blazing. You never served, she shouted again, voice cracking. Every head in the gallery pivoted toward me. The judge, the lawyers, the gawkers, who thought they were witnessing a messy divorce. They were about to see something else entirely. I walked slow, deliberate toward the bench. Combat boots thudded on marble, each step a reminder that I had crossed hotter ground than this. When I reached Judge Harrison, I set a battered tan folder on his desk. No speeches, no protests. Just paper hitting wood, a whisper that felt like thunder. Inside that folder lived 22 years of my life. DD, Bronze Star citation, classified commendations every clearance officer had sworn existed only in rumor. The judge opened it. His eyes widened a millimeter, enough to know the battle had turned. To the house on the cliff. The house wasn't pretty. 3 faded bedrooms, peeling paint, windows that sang when Pacific storms rolled in. But it was mine because Franklin Weston, federal judge, Vietnam vet, and Nora's father, had given it to me. He'd seen through the parade ground posture. The day I met him, dropped the act. Son, I can smell a real soldier. From that moment he treated me like the son he never had. We rebuilt gutters, swapped war stories, and watched sunsets in reverent silence. Cancer took him. But before it did, he told me, this house is yours, Jackson. Not because of blood, but because you know what it means to build something that lasts. His will reflected that promise. Nora and her brother Miles inherited millions in company shares. I inherited intent 3 creaking bedrooms on a cliff. They smiled, shook my hand, and plotted. 3 The paper. War 3 weeks after the funeral, a courier delivered a heavy cream envelope. Inside, a civil complaint thicker than a field manual. Fraud, forgery, stolen valor. Nora claimed I had fabricated my entire military record to swindle her dying father. They had dates, missions, commendations, half true, half redacted, twisted, just enough to look fake. Classified operations leave gaps. Nora weaponized them. I didn't punch walls, didn't scream. I gathered intel. For the turncoat. 2347. Gravel crunched in my driveway. Damon Miles's brother-in-law, in a pristine BMW, shaking like a leaf in monsoon. He'd stumbled onto email threads labeled Phase 2, comprehensive. Character destruction. He copied everything onto a flash drive. Payments to a tech firm hacking veteran databases. Draft press releases, branding me a con artist. Plans to siphon $3 million in assets once I was discredited. They think they're fighting a war, Damon whispered. They have no idea what real warfare looks like. 5. The courtroom ambush. Multnomah County Courthouse. Vaulted ceilings, marble floors, portraits of stern men who'd never seen a foxhole. Reporters packed the gallery, sniffing scandal. Caldwell, their silver-haired shark, delivered a masterclass in character assassination. He paraded a forensic accountant, a psychiatrist who'd never met Franklin. And finally Nora herself, tears sparkling on cue. You never served, she screamed, voice trembling with practiced outrage. Cameras flashed. Gasps rippled. Judge Morrison turned to me. Mr. Cross, do you wish to respond? I arose, folder in hand, and marched forward. Strategic silence. 22 years in uniform honed that skill. She leafed through the documents, face hardened. Then came the emails, the payment ledgers. The recorded call where Nora and Miles plotted my erasure, laughed about turning me radioactive. Morrison's gavel cracked. Bailiff, lock the doors. This is no longer a civil matter. Black-suited U.S. Marshals stormed in. Nora went white. Miles began to sweat through a $1,000 suit. Fraud, wire fraud, identity theft, obstruction of veteran benefits. The charges piled up higher than any sandbag wall I'd manned overseas. 6 fallout. Miles, booted from the family company, indicted for siphoning $2 million from fake veteran charities, facing decades in federal prison. Nora, law license suspended, career reduced to ashes, awaiting trial. Tech firm, dismantled, executives arrested in multiple states. Weston wealth, frozen, lawsuits mounting, empire collapsing. Reporters begged for my side. I gave them none. The veteran who wouldn't talk became its own headline. Silence speaks volumes. 7. The Garden of Truth. A year later, I carved a cedar bench from Franklin's leftover planks, set it in a circle of lavender facing the endless Pacific. 3 storm-worn stones formed a triangle at its heart. I chiseled one word into the backrest deep. Block letters you can feel against your spine. TRUTH, because lies erode, money vanishes, reputations burn. But truth, the kind men die. Every storm. Some evenings I sit on that bench, photo of my unit in hand, waves crashing below, lavender scent on the wind. I think of Martinez, of foxholes and mortar lullabies, of Franklin's steady hammer swings, of Nora's courtroom fury. They tried to erase me. Instead, they engraved me in stone, and the bench whispers to every Pacific breeze. Truth doesn't need a megaphone, only the right moment to be heard.